Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to the next class of mole concept. In the last theory classes before the numericals, I discussed about POSC. I discussed mole analysis. In today's class, I am going to discuss about percentage purity and some numericals. Okay? And the next class will be going to discuss about laws of chemical combinations. So please kindly focus here and stay connected and listen what I'm saying. Let us start the day with a question. The first question. The question is 3 moles of iodine reacts with 8 moles of chlorine to form ICl and ICl3. Okay, read the question with me. Clear? ICl3. Calculate the moles of ICl and ICl3 formed. Calculate the moles of ICl and ICl3 formed. How can I do it? How can I calculate the moles of ICl and ICl3 formed? Now pause this and try to solve it. Okay? On your mark, get set, go. Start solving. Pause. Back. 3 mole of I2 reacts with 8 mole of chlorine to form ICl and ICl3. Now, what is the first thing I will do? The first thing I will do is to write the equation. Iodine plus chlorine gives rise to ICl. If I go for balancing, I2, Cl2, 2ICl. Now, if X mole of iodine requires X mole of chlorine, give 2X mole of ICl. Next equation, I2 plus Cl2 gives rise to ICl3. How can I balance? 2, 3. Now, 2 iodine, 3 to the 6 chlorine, 3 to the 6 chlorine. Done. Now, molar analysis. If here Y mole of iodine is taken and 3Y mole of chlorine will be required. So 2Y mole of ICl3 is formed. Now we got a equation very simple. What is that? According to POSC concept, what is that? 3 mole of iodine reacts with 8 mole of chlorine to form ICl and ICl3. So first equation I got is what? For iodine, X plus Y is equals to how much? 3. And X plus 3Y is equals to 8. Solve this equation 1 and equation 2. Take your time. Solve this equation 1 and equation 2. What did you get? If I solve this equation 1 and equation 2, I'll get X is equals to 0.5 and Y is equals to 2.5. If I put these values, calculate the moles of ICl and ICl3, can I? X, 2x, X 0.52. How many moles? 0.5 into 2. 1 mole of ICl is formed. And here, Y, 2.5. So here how much is formed? 2.5. How much will be formed? 2.5 into 2. Did I get the answer? 5. Did I get this answer? Completely clear? Or you can use the uniter method to calculate. It will be very easy. So did you understand this question? Now we'll discuss percentage purity. Copy this answer. We'll discuss percentage purity or percentage purity of a sample. Our next discussion is percentage purity or purity of a sample. What do you mean by that? Look here. If I say, let us take a compound AgCl. Let us consider sample AgCl, isn't it? Now, if I say in case 1, pure AgCl x gram, that means the entire x gram is purely AgCl. Okay. Now if in the second case, if I say impure sample is taken and out of which AgCl is y gram. How much? Y gram. If x gram here is taken, that means it is 100% is what? X gram. X gram is 100% pure AgCl. Now if I take impure sample, AgCl is y gram. So expected gram, so what is the total gram? X I have taken if it is purely pure. If something is adulterated, something is mixed, something is added, then what will happen? It will become impure. Something is mixed, adulterated or added, that means it is impure. And if it is impure, what will happen? 100% is x gram. AgCl impure is y gram. We are expecting totally x percent. Now this is x minus y is what? The impure part. Isn't it? If someone asks you what is the percentage purity, so percentage of purity, how can I find? Pure sample y out of 100% is what? X into 100, or rather I can say percentage of purity is equals to mass of pure or mass of sample, I can say, that is pure. Okay, do you understand this? Mass of sample that is pure, or can I write mass of compound by total mass of sample that is impure one into 100, isn't it? If it is pure, then the total mass of the sample is given. For example, if I say 100 gram of a substance is present, which is 20 gram is impure, that means 20 by 100 into 100, 20% is the percentage of purity. Understood? Still, to make you more understand this concept, I'll give you a question. Let me solve this question. Okay? Now this question looks quite tough and difficult. Read the question once, beta. 200 gram of silver coin is dissolved in a various reagent, so that 143.5 gram silver chloride is precipitated. Silver coin dissolved somewhere and somewhere, I'll leave it that one, and I got 143.5 gram silver chloride is precipitated out. Calculate percentage purity of silver in coin. Assume all silver is precipitated. Okay, solution. So we have got silver coin. How much? 200 gram, isn't it? How much we have got silver coin? 200 gram. Now, let from this 200 gram, x gram silver be present. What is present? X gram silver is present. Can you tell me? Now number of moles of silver, how much? Mass in gram by molar mass. 108. Is this the number of moles of silver? Say yes or no? Now what happens here? Here silver is converted to silver chloride, isn't it? All the silver is converted to silver chloride, they have given us. Now applied POSC. Remember, if you don't remember, open my previous lecture and go through POSC. You can understand what is POSC. What will happen? Here silver is converted to silver chloride. If I apply POSC, here number of moles of silver into 1 is equals to number of moles of silver chloride, and how much silver is there? 1 time. Isn't it? Say, do you remember or not? How to find number of moles of silver? We found it now. How much? X by 108 into 1 is equals to number of moles of silver chloride. How much silver chloride is being formed? 143.5. What is the molar mass of silver chloride? 108 plus 35.5. It again comes 143.5 into 1. That means this is number of moles is 1. So here X is equals to how much? 108. It means in 200 gram silver coin, I have 100 grams what? Silver, pure silver. That means what is the percentage purity? 108 by 200 into 100. Can anyone calculate this for me, please? Go on calculating. How much will be the value? I hope it will be approximately 54%. Do you want me to calculate in the board? Some people are asking, sir, why don't you calculate in the board itself? Okay, from the next questions, I'll calculate in the board only. Okay, do you understand this question? Sure. Now, our next discussion is combustion of carbon. What is that? We'll discuss today combustion of carbon. Look here. Can I rub the board? Our next discussion is combustion in carbon. Look carefully, you can understand this is a very nice and entrance concept. Okay, many Olympiads, many JEE, many NEET exam people ask questions on this. Combustion in carbon. What do you mean by combustion in carbon? Look, combustion means burning in presence of oxygen, right? So there are three types. First case, carbon is converted to carbon monoxide. Second case, carbon is converted to carbon dioxide. Third case, carbon is converted to carbon monoxide along with carbon dioxide. Now the question comes, when does this occur? What are the three cases? Carbon converted to carbon monoxide, carbon converted to carbon dioxide, carbon converted to carbon monoxide, and also carbon dioxide. Many people go on mogging, go on trying, what will happen, but after today, you people will not do that. Why? I'll tell you tricks where to apply what and what is formed where. Okay, so the next concept is how to know what will happen in which case. Case 1, only carbon monoxide is formed. Listen carefully what I am doing. Can I rub this? Okay. Case 1, only carbon monoxide is formed. Look, case 1, only carbon monoxide is formed. Okay, how does it form? Carbon plus half O2 gives rise to carbon monoxide. Okay, carbon plus half O2 gives rise to carbon monoxide. Or I can say 2C plus O2 gives rise to 2CO. Now, my dear little champs, looking at this, tell me, what is the ratio of the number of moles of carbon is to oxygen? Is it 2:1 mole? Say yes or no? Is it 2:1 mole? Or can I write like this? Number of moles of carbon to number of moles of oxygen is how much? 2:1. That means if I can say that if number of moles of carbon is to oxygen is less than equal to 2, then case 1 occurs. To make us more comparable, to help us in comparing, I am just telling one thing. Please understand. Please keep this in mind. Number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of carbon should be less than equal to 1/2. Please remember this. This will be easy for us to compare for comparison. Not this. Remember, number of moles of oxygen is number of moles of carbon should be less than equal to 1/2. So then what will happen? Carbon monoxide is only formed. Clear? Now, in this case, what is that? Oxygen is not in excess. Carbon is in excess. Or I can say, when oxygen becomes excess, what will form? Carbon dioxide. When oxygen is not present in excess, then carbon monoxide. In excess, carbon dioxide. But I can't predict haphazardly in a just blind manner that yes, it will be carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide. Remember, I am going through a formula. Okay, no hit and trial concepts. Now, Case 2. Remember this case 1. Huh? I'm just writing for your reference. For 1, number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of carbon should be less than equal to 1 by 2. Remember, this is the case 1. Let us analyze this case 2. Let's go for case 2. What did I say? If oxygen excess, then carbon dioxide. If oxygen less, then carbon monoxide. Second case, when CO2 is formed, isn't it? Burning of carbon in oxygen will give carbon dioxide. How? Carbon plus O2 gives rise to what? CO2. Is this balanced? Yes or no? Is it balanced? Now tell me, what will happen? Sorry, I forgot right here O2. Here, how many mole? 1 mole. Here, how many mole? 1 mole. So, number of moles of O2 by number of moles of carbon is what? 1 by 1. That is how much? 1. That means if you find the number of moles of oxygen is to number of moles of carbon is 1, then pakka what will come? Tell me. What will come? Carbon dioxide. Or to make it more precise, look here what I am writing here. Number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of carbon should be greater than 1. Greater than is equals to 1. Then in the first case, what is coming out? Carbon monoxide. Second case, what is coming out? Carbon dioxide. Okay. Now let us go for the third case. Now, what is the third case? Do you find one thing? This is less than equal to 1 by 2. This is greater than equal to 1. Then we are getting carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. What else if it is in between them? What else if it is in between them? I meant to say in case 3. Look here. In case 3. When both carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are formed. When both carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are formed, when it will form? When N by O2 by N by C is greater than look, can you analyze what will happen? When it is greater than 1 by 2 and less than 1. Equal to. Okay. In this case, what will form? Carbon dioxide and also carbon monoxide. Now, how can I solve this? I will solve this with the help of one question. Let us go for the question. What is the question? Look here. 46 gram. Sorry. Question. 48 gram carbon is treated with 96 gram oxygen. 48 gram carbon is treated with 96 gram oxygen. Calculate the number of moles of gas formed. Calculate the number of moles of gas formed. Okay. How to solve this question? Please read it. Can you write out? Pause. Start. Solved. Now, shall I solve it? Here it comes. First, number of moles of carbon. How can I calculate? Mass in gram by molar mass. How many? 4 moles, isn't it? Number of moles of oxygen. How can I calculate? 96 by 32. How much? 3 moles. Now, how to find whether carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide? How to find? Is it number of moles of oxygen by number of moles of carbon? How much? 3 by 4. 3 by 4 means not greater than 1, not less than, not greater than 1 by 2, less than 1. That means here there is chance of formation of carbon monoxide and also carbon dioxide. Listen carefully. Here there is chance of formation of carbon monoxide and also carbon dioxide. Now how can I calculate? Listen carefully. How can I calculate? Now here it comes. What will do? So we found that both the gases are possible. मतलब carbon plus half O2 gives rise to carbon monoxide. Carbon plus O2 gives rise to carbon dioxide. Both the gases are possible. Let me write it together. Carbon plus oxygen gives rise to carbon monoxide plus carbon dioxide. Isn't it? Now, let me solve it by POSC. POSC for carbon. How can I solve? And one more thing. Let carbon monoxide form be X mole and carbon dioxide form be Y mole. Okay. Let carbon monoxide formed to be X mole, carbon dioxide formed to be Y mole. Okay. Now, POSC for carbon. How can I calculate? Number of moles of carbon into number of times the carbon exists. Anything else in this left hand side? No. Is equals to number of moles of carbon monoxide into the number of times the carbon exists, 1 time, plus number of moles of carbon dioxide in the number of times the carbon exists, 1. Isn't it? Now number of moles of carbon monoxide is X and dioxide is Y. And number of moles of carbon we have already calculated 4 moles. So can I write here X plus Y is equals to 4. Equation 1. Yes or no? Now let us go for second one. POSC for oxygen. Now here, where does oxygen exist? Here. Number of moles of oxygen into number of times the oxygen exists. How many times? 2 times. Now, number of moles of carbon monoxide, number of times the oxygen exists. Once. Plus number of moles of carbon dioxide, the number of times the oxygen exists. 2. Now, number of moles of oxygen, how much here? 3. So 3 into 2 is equals to number of moles of oxygen X plus number of moles of carbon dioxide 2Y. So 2Y plus X is equals to 6. So this is equation 2. Please for me kindly solve this equation 1 and equation 2. Simultaneous equation. If you solve this equation, what will I get? What will I get? If you solve this, we will get X is equals to 2 and also Y is equals to 2. This is the answer. Now the question arises, sir, can we go for solving this without this checking? Without this checking, can we solve this? Yes, by unitary method. Let me do the unitary methods. Let me do the unitary method. Can you rub the board? Huh? Can I? Now let us go for the unitary method. Now, what is that unitary method? Look here. Number of moles of carbon, how much? 48 by 12, 4. Number of moles of oxygen, 96 by 32. How much? 3 moles. Now the question comes. In this case, the question comes. Here carbon is converted to carbon monoxide. Then carbon monoxide is converted to carbon dioxide by heating in the presence of oxygen. That means oxygen is required to convert here to here and here to Let me do it one by one. Carbon plus oxygen half O2 gives rise to carbon monoxide. Okay. Now tell me what is the stoichiometric coefficient. Now let me make it more clear. 2C plus O2 gives rise to 2CO. What is the stoichiometric coefficient here? 2:1, isn't it? Now if I go for mole analysis, mole analysis, what can I do? Now how many moles of carbon was taken here? 4 moles by 2 is equals to how many moles of oxygen was taken here? Oxygen 3 moles by 1. Now which is the limiting reagent? The value which will come less, this is 3, this is 2. So carbon is the limiting reagent here, isn't it? Now here mole analysis, number of moles of CO by stoichiometric coefficient 2. So how much is number of moles of CO formed? Number of moles of CO formed is equals by 2 is equals to, we'll take this na, only limiting reagent is considered. See, watch my previous videos. Number of moles of CO by 2 is equals to 4 by 2, 2. So number of moles of CO is equals to how much? Tell me. 4 by 2 is 2. And number of moles of CO is equals to how much? 2 to 2. 4. Say yes or no? Check it out. Now the question arises, here 4 mole of CO is formed. Now limiting reagent was carbon. It means the entire carbon was used up. Clear? Now for 2 moles of carbon, 1 mole of oxygen is required. That means how much carbon is used here? How much carbon is used here? I have taken carbon 4 mole. 4 more entirely used up. 2 mole requires 1 mole. 4 mole will require 2 moles. That means 2 moles of oxygen is used. That means how much is left? Number of moles of oxygen left is 3 minus 2, that is 1 mole. Do you understand or not? Look carefully. Entire 4 mole of carbon is used up. 2 mole requires 1 mole. 2 mole requires 1 mole. 4 mole will require 2 mole. 2 requires 1, 4 will require 2. So 2 moles of oxygen are used. How much oxygen are left? Number of moles of oxygen left equals to 3 minus 2, that is equals to 1 mole. Now come to this. Now we have what with us? Carbon monoxide 4 mole, oxygen 1 mole. They both will react to form carbon dioxide. See how. 2CO plus O2 gives us to 2CO2. Is it balanced or not? 2 carbon, 2 carbon, 2 oxygen, 2 to 4 oxygen, 4 oxygen. Now here, what we have? What is the stoichiometric coefficient? 2:1. Now what we have with us? 4 mole of carbon monoxide formed here and 1 mole of oxygen that was left in the previous equation. Now for mole analysis, this is 4 by 2, this is 1 by 1. Now 4 by 2 is 2, 1 by 1 is 1. That means this is the limiting reagent. That means entire oxygen will be used up. Now here how can I calculate? Number of moles of oxygen by 1 equals number of moles of carbon dioxide by 2. So this is equals to how much? 1. So number of moles of carbon dioxide formed is how much? 2. Number of moles of carbon dioxide formed is how much? 2. Now here 2 mole requires 2 mole. That means here 2 mole is formed. So 2 moles gives 2 moles. Here how much carbon dioxide is formed? 2 mole. So 2 mole is formed. That means 2 moles is used here. So how many moles are used here? We had 4 mole used. How much? 2 mole used. 2 mole left. That means number of moles of carbon dioxide left is 2 mole. So number of moles of carbon monoxide formed 2 mole. Number of moles of carbon monoxide left 2 mole. Number of moles of carbon dioxide formed is equals to 2 mole. Did I make you understand this concept clear? Please go through this. Please. Clear? In our next class, we will be discussing about the most important thing, that is analysis of a mixture. It's a very tough part for your JEE and for Olympiads also. And beyond that, we will discuss about laws of chemical combinations. Okay. Now we'll discuss question answers. Okay. Let us add this with some question answers so that you can feel good. Okay. Bye bye. Let us go for the question answers, not bye. Okay. Copy it. Hello my dear champs. Today we are going to discuss about some more numericals based on mole concept. We have discussed mole concept prior to this discussion. We have discussed the limiting reagents, we have discussed POSC, we have discussed consecutive reactions, we have discussed many linked concepts, isn't it? Achha. One more thing, I learned that in the last big lecture, the consecutive reactions was having some problems, the video was muted. Today I will discuss about the consecutive reactions and we'll do some questions. Okay, let us do a question and after that we'll go for consecutive reactions. Okay, let us start. 30 gram of magnesium and 30 gram of oxygens are reacted. Give the details about the residual mixture. Read the question. 30 gram of magnesium and 30 grams of oxygens are reacted. Give the details about the residual mixture. Let me find this solution. Magnesium reacts with oxygen to form magnesium oxide, isn't it? Is this equation balanced? No. Now the equation is balanced. 2 Mg plus O2 gives us to 2 MgO. Okay. Now in this case, what we need to find the 30 gram when initially 30 gram of magnesium taken and how much oxygen is taken? 30 gram. Normally what is the case here? 2 moles of magnesium, or I can say stoichiometric coefficient. I can say stoichiometric coefficient here 2 moles require 1 mole gives 2 mole, isn't it? Now if I calculate the mass here, 2 into 24 grams require 32 grams gives 2 into 24 plus 16, 40 into 2, 80 grams, isn't it? So this is the normal stoichiometry. That means 48 grams, isn't it, require 32 grams, isn't it? That means 1 gram of magnesium will require 32 by 48. From the normal stoichiometry, 2 moles require 1 mole. 30 gram will require 15 grams. 30 grams will require 15 grams. That means who will be completed? Magnesium. That means magnesium is the limiting reagent, isn't it? Magnesium is the limiting reagent. That means it will be completely reacted and oxygen will be the excess reagent. Now from here, 1 gram requires 32 by 48 grams of oxygen. So 30 grams will require how much? 32 by 48 into 30. It comes how much? If I divide it by 3, 10 ja, 3 1 ja, 3 6 ja, isn't it? Now 4, 4 ja, 4 8 ja, 4 1 ja 2, 4 1 ja 4, 4 2 ja 8, isn't it? So how much? 20. So 30 grams will require 20 grams of what? Magnesium. Easy. Now, so how much oxygen will be left here? So mass of oxygen reacted is 20. Mass of oxygen left is equals to 30 minus 20, that is 10 grams, isn't it? Now come to this MgO. Here 48 grams is giving how much? 80 grams. This is how much? 80 grams, isn't it? Let me calculate here for MgO. Let me calculate here. (48 grams) is giving 80 grams of MgO, isn't it? So 1 gram will give how much? 80 by 48. So 30 grams will give how much? 80 by 48 into 30. Okay, it comes how much? Please do calculate it. For in which value I can divide it? 8 10 ja, 8 6 ja, 6 5 ja. How much? 50 grams, isn't it? Easy or not? Doubt? There it is 50 grams. So how much grams of MgO will be formed? So mass of MgO formed is 50 and mass of Mg left is 0 because this is limiting, isn't it? So give the details of the residual mixture. So in the residue we will have 10 grams of oxygen and 50 grams of magnesium oxide. Please check the answer. And 50 grams of magnesium oxide. Will you check it? Clear? Now let us go for the next discussion. So let us discuss about consecutive reactions. In the last video, we found that the consecutive reactions was muted due to some technical errors. So let me discuss consecutive reactions once again. Okay. So let us discuss consecutive reaction. What is this consecutive reaction? The reaction in which the product of a reaction acts as the reactant for another reaction. For example, if A plus B gives rise to C, this is the product of this reaction and this C acts as the reactant for another reaction. So this is called consecutive reaction. And if E reacts with F to give G, then this is called consecutive reaction. It means the product of a reaction, acts as a reactant for another reaction. Okay, and it is must that they should be in same conditions of temperature and pressure. Okay, then this is called what? Consecutive reaction. Sometimes in some books they do not refer to the same conditions of temperature and pressure, so, but it is necessary to have in same conditions of temperature and pressure. For example, another example, let us go for another example. A plus B gives rise to A3B4 and A3B4 reacts with C to form A3B4C5. Then this is also an example of consecutive reaction. This is also an example of consecutive reaction. Now, one more example. Carbon plus oxygen gives rise to carbon monoxide and Fe2O3 plus carbon monoxide forms. What will happen? Here you might not be aware about these reactions. You have to wait for the inorganic to understand this reaction. What will happen? Fe will be reduced to Fe2O3 will be reduced to Fe and carbon dioxide will form. This is also an example of consecutive reaction. Easy? One more question. One more example. What is that? For example, carbon plus oxygen is raised to carbon monoxide. When nickel reacts with carbon monoxide, it forms nickel tetracarbonyl. This is an example of consecutive reactions. Okay, let us do a numerical based on these consecutive reactions, so we will have more clarity. Let us do a numerical based on this consecutive reaction. The question is, 12 moles each of A, B and C are taken initially. The question is, 12 moles each of A, B and C taken initially. Okay. Now the question is, how may calculate the moles of A2, B3, C4 formed? Calculate the moles of A2, B3, C4 formed. Now look here carefully. What happens in this case? Here the question, and in the question it is already given that A plus B gives rise to A2, B3 and A2, B3 plus C forms A2, B3, C4. This is given in the question. Now our target is to calculate the number of moles of A2, B3, C4 formed. How to calculate? First of all, let me write this equation. A plus B gives rise to A2, B3. In this case, first of all, we have to balance the equation in order to apply the mole-mole analysis. How to balance the equation? A2 just means 2A, B3, 3B. What is the stoichiometric coefficient here? 2, 3, 1. Now, what is the initial mole taken at time t is equal to 0? Here 12 moles, here 12 moles. Now, if I go for the mole-mole analysis to find the limiting reagent, so how can I find? It is 12 by stoichiometric coefficient, 12 by stoichiometric coefficient. So this comes how much? 6. This comes how much? 4. That means the lesser value is the limiting reagent. So who is the limiting reagent here? B. Here B is the limiting reagent. It means the entire B will be reacted. And once it is the limiting reagent, if I go for the mole-mole analysis, what will happen here? Stoichiometric coefficient, number of moles of A2, B3 by stoichiometric coefficient 1. This is all about mole-mole analysis. And I have told you already, for finding the values, you have to include the limiting reagent concept with the mole-mole analysis. Now, what will be the value of number of moles of A2, B3? So 12 by 3 will be equal to number of moles of A2, B3 by 1. That means number of moles of A2, B3 is equals to 4. Isn't it? So how much amount of Na2B3 is formed? 4 moles are formed. But our question is to find A2B3C4. How many moles are formed? 4 moles. Now our target is to find A2B3C4. Can I rub this? Just note it down. Now look at this. Initially, number of moles of C was taken how much? 12. Now, what is this? A2, B3 plus C gives rise to A2, B3, C4. Now look here. How to balance this equation? 4 moles of C. Now A2, B3, B3, 4C, 4C. Done. What is the stoichiometric coefficient here? 1, 4, here 1. How can I go for mole-mole analysis? Achha. First, initial T is equals to 0. How much A2B3 is taken? I found out now, 4 moles. C, already given in the question, 2 moles. This one, a 0. Now, mole-mole analysis. How can I go for mole analysis? Number of moles of A2B3 by stoichiometric coefficient is equals to number of moles of C by stoichiometric coefficient 4 is equals to number of moles of A2, B3, C4 by stoichiometric coefficient 1, isn't it? Now, number of moles of A2, B3 is 4 by 1. This is 12 by 4. Now tell me, 4 by 1 is 4. 12 by 4 is 3. Again, who is the limiting reagent? Limiting reagent is again 3 because this is 4, this is 3. So, limiting reagent is again who? C is the limiting reagent. This is the limiting reagent. And in the equation, we have to include the limiting reagent. So, how can I calculate now? Number of moles of C by 4 is equals to number of moles of A2, B3, C4 by 1. Number of moles of C taken initially is how much? 12. So, number of moles of A2, B3, C4 is equals to 12 by 4 is equals to 3. So, the answer comes here 3. You understand? Say yes or no? Easy? Clear? Now, let us go for one more question. This question seems almost similar to the previous question, isn't it? Look, what is the question given here? 12 moles each of A, B, C are taken initially. Calculate the moles of A2, B3, C4 formed. But here just there is a twist in this question. What is the twist here? A plus B gives 60% yield to form A2B3. That means A2B3 form is only 60% of the expected yield. Okay. Now, then A2B3 plus C gives A2B3C4, which is again 40% of the yield. Matlab, it is, we are expecting, the expecting yield, 40% of expected yield is formed. Let us find how to calculate it. In the first case, we all calculated in the previous question that 2A plus 3B gives us to A2B3, and the number of moles of A2B3 formed was 4. This was expected, isn't it? But 60% is the yield. That means actual yield is 60%. Actual yield is 60% of 4. That is how much? 2.4. Now 2.4 is taken, isn't it? Now let us find the yield of A2B3C4. How many moles are formed? Now A2B3C4 plus C gives rise to, A2B3 plus C gives rise to A2B3C4. Now 4C. Now how many initially A2B3 is taken now? 2.4, because this is the consecutive reaction, and this much amount of 2.4 moles of A2B3 is used in the second reaction. And how many moles of C are taken? 12 moles. Initially it is given in the question. Now, how to find the limiting reagent? Divide the number of moles given initially. How much? 2.4 by stoichiometric coefficient 1. This is 12 by 4. So 12 by 4, 2.4. So this 4 3s are. So this is the limiting. Now A2B3 is the limiting. Now how can I calculate by mole analysis? Number of moles of A2B3 by 1 is equals to number of moles of A2B3C4 by 1. It means number of moles of A2B3C4 should be equal to 2.4. This is expected. But the question they have given 40%. That means number of moles of A2B3C4 actual is how much? 2.4, 40%. 4500. Can you calculate it? How much percent? 2.4 of 40% of 2.4. How much? Quick. How much? Is it 0.96 gram? Sorry, 0.96 moles. Yes or no? Easy? Clear? Let us solve this question. Done? Let us go for the next discussion. Now, read this question. 50 kg of nitrogen gas and 10 kg of hydrogen gas is mixed to produce ammonia. What is the approximate mass of ammonia formed? 50 gram ka nitrogen gas, 10 gram ka hydrogen gas is mixed and ammonia is formed. Now the question comes, how is the amount of ammonia formed from this? Now let me solve it. N2 plus 3H2 gives us to 2NH3. Now, what did they ask us? 50 kg of nitrogen and 10 kg of hydrogen. For a better calculation, can I do like this? 50 kg for nitrogen, okay, means how much? 50,000 grams It means number of moles of nitrogen is how much? 50,000 by, what is the mass of nitrogen? 28. So it is approximately 1786 moles. Please check the calculation. I may be wrong. Please check the calculation. It is 1786 moles. Similarly, for hydrogen, how much is given? 10 kg. That is equals to 10,000 grams. So number of moles of hydrogen is equals to 10,000 by 2. That is how much? 5,000 moles. Okay. Now, very simply we'll solve this question. Here, what is the stoichiometric coefficient, beta? 1, 3, 2. If I go for mole analysis, mole analysis, it is how much? 1786 by 1, and this is 5,000 by 3. Clear? So if I want to find the limiting reagent, so this is 1786, this is 5,000 by 3 is less than 1786, isn't it? It is less than 1786. So who is the limiting reagent? Hydrogen is the limiting reagent. Now here 3 mole is giving 2 mole. If I go for the mole analysis, how can I go? 5,000 by 3 will be equal to number of moles of ammonia formed by 2. So number of moles of ammonia is equals to 5,000 into 2 by 3, isn't it? So it is approximately 3 moles, isn't it? Because 5,000 into it will be 10,000. So 10,000 equal to 3333 mole approximately. Okay, please check the calculation. That means the question is, what is the approximate mass is given? This is mole. So mass of ammonia is equals to how much? 3333 into, each mole is 17 gram, isn't it? So 17 into 3333 grams. It comes approximately how much? Please do calculate and tell me. It is 5666 grams, or approximately 56 kg. Done? Easy? Copy this. Let us go for one more question. Again, one more question. What is the weight of iron which would be converted into oxide Fe3O4 by the action of 18 gram of steam on it? Again, I will say, you are small kids, you are not up to the inorganic chemistry, so you don't know the reactions. I will help you to remember these reactions now. Once inorganic is started, you can cross these questions easily. Now I will just go for the calculations for you and the reactions from my side. What is the weight of iron? What will be the weight of iron? Iron का weight कितना होगा? Which would be converted to oxide, जो oxide में convert होगा. How? By the action of 18 gram of steam. Now let me help you. What is the weight of iron? Fe plus H2O gives rise to Fe3O4 plus H2. Let me balance it. 3 Fe, 4 H2O. So now 3 iron, 4 to the 8 hydrogen. Hydrogen is now here. 8 hydrogen, 4 oxygen, balanced. Now, is it balanced? Check it out. Now see. 3 into 56 grams of iron. This is the atomic mass of iron. Requires 4 into 18 grams of water. 18 is the molar mass of water, 18 grams. So 3 into 56 requires 4 into 18. Or I can say 4 into 18 grams of water requires 3 into 56 grams of iron. That means 18 grams of water will require how much? 3 by 4 into 56. Tell me, 3 by 4 of 56. How much? Quick. What do you do? So it becomes how much? 42 grams. Was it an easy question? Huh? One more. Next question. What is the mass of CaO, calcium oxide, that shall be obtained by heating 20 kg of 90% pure limestone? Now I have taken 20 kg of pure limestone, 20 kg of 90% pure limestone. Now what is limestone? CaCO3. When heated, it gives CaO plus CO3. Now is this equation balanced? CaCO3, CO3. Now here, what is the mass of CaCO3? Calcium 40, carbon 12, oxygen 16 into 3. How much? 48. It becomes how much? 100 grams, isn't it? Molar mass becomes 100 grams, isn't it? Now, here, how much? Calcium 40, oxygen 16, it comes how much? 56 grams. Now, 100 grams gives 56 grams. That means 100 kg will give how much? 56 kg. Now, what is the mass of CO that will be obtained by heating 20 kg of 90% pure? Now, 90% pure CaO, which is, so 90% pure CaCO3, which is 20 kg. Now means 90 by 100 into 20 is equals to how much? 18 kg is pure CaCO3. Clear? Now 100 kg gives 56 kg. So 1 kg will give 6 by 100 CO. Now 18 kg will give 56 by 100 into 18. Okay? Please calculate. 10.08 kg. Please do calculate. It will be approximately 10.08 kg. Done? Easy? How is it to solve it by unitary method, isn't it? Now, one more question. 20 gram of magnesium carbonate sample decomposes on heating to give carbon dioxide. Magnesium carbonate decomposes to give carbon dioxide and 8 gram of magnesium oxide. What will be the percentage purity of magnesium carbonate in sample? The question is, what will be the percentage purity? See, first let me write the equation. Magnesium carbonate on heating decomposes to what? Magnesium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Is this equation balanced? MgO plus CO2. Okay. Now, what is the mass here? Magnesium 24 carbon, 12 oxygen, 48 comes approximately 84. Ayana. Here magnesium 24, oxygen 16, it comes how much? 40. Now we found that 40 gram magnesium oxide is obtained from 84 gram magnesium carbonate. Okay. Now 8 gram MgO will be obtained from 84 by 40 into 8. ठीक है? Will be approximately 16.8 grams. That means this is the pure MgCO3 required. This is the pure magnesium carbonate required. But we have taken how much? 20 gram of magnesium carbonate. This is the impure value. So percentage purity is equals to, impure amount is 20 na? Pure amount is how much? 16.8. by 20 into 100. So it comes approximately 84%. Please calculate it. It comes approximately 84%. Easy? Done? Please check the answers and check the calculations even. Here it goes. What is the weight of NaCl? The question is, what will be the weight of NaCl? Decomposed by, who decomposed NaCl? By H2SO4. What will be the weight of NaCl decomposed by 4.9 gram H2SO4? If 6 gram of sodium hydrogen sulfate, this is sodium hydrogen sulfate, how much formed? 6 gram. And 1.825 gram of HCl are produced. 1.825 gram of HCl are produced in the reaction. Beta, this, there the question is very simple. How much NaCl is required or decomposed by 4.9 gram of H2SO4 to give 6 gram of NaHSO4, 1.85 gram of HCl. By seeing this question, many faculties, many students jump to do for a big calculation, but not necessary. The question is very clear and simple. I taught you law of conservation of mass. What is law of conservation of mass? Law of conservation of mass says that the total mass of the reactants will be equal to the total mass of the products. I can say like that. According to law of conservation of mass, what is that? Total mass of a reactant will be equal to total mass of product. Total mass of reactant is equal to total mass of product. That means total reactant is how much? For NaCl, let it be X plus 4.9 is equals to 6 plus 1.825. So here X is equals to 2.9. You can just calculate it. It is approximately 2.9. Please calculate. Did you calculate? 2.925 grams. So such a simple and easy concept. Easy? Can we go for the next one? So in today's class, we discuss very small number of questions so that we can have a fundamental hold on those questions. In next classes, we'll go for more further details on mole concept and more case analysis with more questions. And do not forget to subscribe, forward and like our channel. Thank you. And listen, in the previous video, we missed the point, that is consecutive reactions. This video I have discussed it. Please do refer that and go forward. Till then, bye bye, take care and stay connected. Thank you.